Okay, so we're going to get started on our DJ Events project. In this video, I'm going to show you how to get set up with Next.js, and I'm going to explain some of the files and folders in the basic structure that's created by the utility we're going to use. Now, the first couple sections of this project are going to be a little slow because I do want to explain the fundamentals and the features of Next.js. I'm also going to be taking a few asides throughout the course just to explain a couple things rather than just have it be like a code along. All right, so this is nextjs.org. This is the official website. This is where you can find the docs. If we go to Start Learning and then Setup, you'll see that we can install a utility called Create Next App, much like that we have the Create React App utility. And you do need to have at this time at least Node.js 10.13 or later, so just make sure you have Node.js installed. If you don't, you can click here or just go to nodejs.org. So what we want to do now is open up a terminal and go to wherever you want to create this project. I'm in a folder called dev, and let's go ahead and make a directory. So you can either do this through your operating system interface or through the terminal. We can say make directory, and I'm going to call this DJ-events, and then let's cd into DJ events. And basically we're going to have two main folders in here. We're going to have the front end folder, which is going to include all of our Next.js website, and then the back end, which is going to be our Strapi CMS, which we're not going to get to until later. So from here, let's run npx, and we want to run create-next-app, and we're going to call this let's say DJ events front end, and that's going to set up all the default folders and files and dependencies for our Next.js website in this folder. Okay, once we do that, we can cd into DJ events front end, and from here I'm going to open up Visual Studio Code or open up whatever text editor you're using, and you can see all the files and folders on the side here. Now I am going to run the dev server before we go over this stuff, so I'm going to open up my integrated terminal and run npm run dev. And that should open up a landing page on localhost 3000, so let's check that out. So it's going to look something like this. It might look a little different depending on when you're watching this, but it's basically just a single page with some links to some outside file or outside documentation. So I'm just going to make this smaller for now so we can see both the text editor and the browser. And let's just go over some of these files and folders. So if we look at the package.json, there's not much in here. As far as dependencies, we just have Next, React, and React DOM. And then for scripts, we have our dev script, which we just ran, that just runs the dev server. We have a build folder to create our production build, and then you have a npm start, and this will actually run your production build on your local machine. So not too much in the package.json, which is a good thing. And then let's look at some of these other folders. So public, this is basically your static folder, images. You can put style sheets in here. Just know that anything you put in here is going to be directly accessible to the browser. So if I go to localhost 3000 or whatever my domain, and I go to, let's say, favicon.ico, that's going to show in the browser. So just be aware of that. Then we have a pages and styles folder. So if we look in pages, you can ignore this API folder for now. We're going to get to that later. But basically, this is where all of your pages will go. This that you're looking at in the browser is the home page, and that's this index.js. Now, in Next, a page is nothing more than a React component. So it's a functional component. You can see it's called home, but we could call it anything. In fact, I'm going to call it home page. If I save, that's still going to work. And it's just a React component. It serves JSX, or return, I should say it returns JSX. And all the same rules apply as React. We use class name. We can have JavaScript expressions and all that good stuff. If we change something here like this H1, I'll just go ahead and change that to hello and save, and you'll see it'll auto reload over here. All right, now we're going to clear all this up in the next video. I just want to kind of explain how this works. Now there's an underscore app.js file here. Basically, Next.js uses an app component to initialize pages. This component that's being returned is whatever the current page is. So right now it would be this home page. This page is index.js. If we were on a different page, then this would be returning that page, and it gets passed in any page props. Also, we're importing a global CSS file, which I'll show you in a second. but you can add stuff to this if you want. Like if you wanted to create a nav bar or something, we obviously would have to have a parent element around this, so we could put some empty brackets, or empty fragments I should say. And then up here, if we wanted like an H1, and if we say hello and save, this hello is going to be on every page, okay? And I'm going to get to pages in the next video. Now you don't have to type this out, I just wanted to show you that. We're going to be using a specific layout component for our header and footer and stuff. We're not going to put it directly in here, but there's so many different ways to do things. As far as CSS, again, many ways to do it. You can use the standard module system, which I'm going to talk about now, but you could also use style components. You could use a framework like Tailwind. You could put everything in the global CSS. So it's really up to you. I'm going to stick to the module system. So basically the global CSS is being brought in here to the underscore app.js, which is just some very basic global styling. And then there's this home.module CSS, and you'll see that's being imported as styles into the home page. So basically what we're going to do is have specific style sheets for specific pages and specific components, and they have to have this naming convention .module.css. If I were to change this to home.css and try to import that like this, it's going to tell me it can't import global style sheets. The only place you can import global style sheets is underscore app.js. Okay, now when we use any styles in this module, like let's say the container, you'll see we just do this, styles dot, and then whatever the class, in this case container. All right, so we're gonna stick to this system of using modules. So that's pretty much all I wanted to do in this video, is get things set up, go over some of the default pages and files and folders, and in the next video we're gonna go over pages and routing.